Welcome to the show. I got an exciting one here for you. We are talking about 5 league winners you want to target for fantasy football 2025. Got the fancy list right here. Excited to share it with you guys. I'm super pumped because it feels like fantasy football is back, and I know it's back. So if you love fantasy football, if you love the latest NFL news and notes, if you want the truth to sports and actually win your leagues, Truth to Fantasy, click subscribe button. It takes a fraction of a second. Hit the thumbs up as well and drop a comment below. Who do you believe is going to be a league winner for fantasy football 2025? Love to get your feedback, guys. Want to make this ultra interactive. I'm excited to dive into this list. And man, oh man, I just think that there's so many great rookies, particularly this year, that have so much upside and could shine. This list is a little mixed up. I got a couple of veterans here and 2 rookies that I absolutely love that absolutely could win your league. So I'm excited to dive in. If you've not got the 16-round draft, so you should grab it below. Literally, just click on the link below. I'm telling you, you guys will never look back. It's like literally handing you the win on a silver platter. 16 rounds is the game changer. I literally give you all the sleepers, late round steals, optimal players drafted each round, hand it to you on a silver platter. It's an ironclad roster, full video training, mock drafts, cheat sheet. You can print out or update till the season starts. Grab 16 rounds right now. I've linked it below and use code WIN to save. It's a limited code. I might be removing it very, very soon, probably at the end of June or probably even earlier. So make sure you guys get that deal before we go to regular pricing. All right. So let's talk about this. 5 league winners. And I want to rip through this, but also really just tell you how excited I am about these players and some of the draft value. The first guy, I'm going to start off with the rookie. I'm going to save a rookie to the end who I absolutely love. I've got in all my leagues. By the way, all these guys are 60 rounders. I would consider drafting all these guys, obviously, without a doubt. So let's dive into it. The first one, you've heard me talk about him if you listen to this channel, and I want to emphasize how excited I am about him, and I'll tell you why. It's very important, not just to get the name of the player I'm recommending, but the reason why I actually like him, okay? The guy I'm talking about is RJ Harvey. Why do I love RJ Harvey? First of all, who is RJ Harvey? He's the rookie drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 2nd round. We're talking amazing. When I say amazing, I'm talking like top-notch cutting ability. So the ability to see a defender, cut to the right or left, and explode, burst out, into the open field or into, an open gap into the field is amazing. Like his ability to cut is phenomenal. Just go watch tape. I've posted an Instagram video recently. Go watch that. But the ability to burst and cut is second to none. We're talking 4.4 speed. And I just saw a video of him talking about like how, some people comparing him to maybe a Darren Sproles. He's bigger than that, obviously. He's 5'10", 195 pounds, maybe 5'9", 5'10". But he says also Alvin Kamara comparisons. Those guys are great, but I want to do better. I want to be better than those guys. And that's the type of mentality I like. I like that dog mentality of like, man, I'm a go-getter. I'm a lion. And I don't want to be compared to anybody. I want to be better. I want to be the best, right? And that's similar to, the way Kyren Williams thinks. He was on the show last year. And he's like, dude, draft me. And like, we're talking, he's like, he's got that, like, I want to be the greatest of all time mentality. I know a lot of running backs do it or have that mentality, but don't really say it and aren't confident with the swagger. And I feel RJ Harvey's a great guy. Seems like a great guy. I haven't met him, but seems like a great guy. And he's got that dog mentality, which is huge, right? Now, the thing is, like, if you look at what the Broncos did last year in the run game, 340 times they ran the ball over 6 running backs. And Estime is one of the guys people are concerned about, maybe being kind of like, a thorn in the side of Harvey. I'm not really concerned about Estime. He was there with the crappy Javonte Williams. Williams, years to wow us, word out loud. And Estime only had 76 attempts, 310 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. So I'm just not really concerned about Estime. And they drafted high draft capital with Harvey, and he's just the best talent. Talent will rise. I could see the talent here with Harvey. He's just exciting. Now, looking at his ADP, his ADP is going to rise. I ended up doing an experts league right now, 2K buy-in, 2,000 buy-in, right? I had to get him in round 4. If I didn't get him, I was drafting at the 1.9 spot, so you got to picture 12 people coming back around. If I didn't get him here in the 4th spot, on the turn, there's 3 people drafting in between, but 6 picks in between coming back. And when I got him in the 4th round, the guy after went TreVeyon Henderson. So it's like, when you look at the ADP, he was actually in this particular league, right, he was coming up on the ADP pretty quick. And even if he wasn't, these guys I've noticed are reaching for these rookies because they know these rookies are in great positions to succeed. So you need to do that too, because if you don't, you're just going to get destroyed this year. Now, to put it in context here, like Swift, Pacheco, Pollard, and Jaylen Warren on the ADP consensus, if you look at the general rankings, which you should only be doing as a guideline, not to follow it, are ranked ahead of him, which is ludicrous. RJ Harvey has way more upside, way more talent. Pollard sucks. Warren sucks, right? That's why they brought in Caleb Johnson. Dude, I'm just looking at it. I'm just thinking, I'm seeing opportunity. I'm seeing a lot of volume. I'm seeing finally that the Broncos get a true workhorse running back that they could run and is going to absolutely dominate. So I'm just excited about him. He's like RB3 on my teams because I'm going a little bit robust earlier on. Absolutely love him. And man, just excited about RJ Harvey for Fantasy Football 2025. I'm singing his praises, man, this year. I'm all in. So I've got him. I'm invested. Hopefully you guys can see the vision as well. Go watch some tape on him. I highly recommend it, okay? The second guy here I want to talk about, this is a little more obvious, but let me explain. Malik Nabers. Well, you're saying, well, Joe, Malik Nabers, that's obvious. But let me explain, right? Because there's a lot of players coming off ahead of him, including running backs, which I like, like your Byjans of the world. And you got Jamar Chase. You got Justin Jefferson coming off ahead of him. But understand, Chase had this like astronomical pinnacle year that he really has never achieved before. And it's a regression year for Chase. How much? I don't know. Chase is still a safe bet. But when you look at a guy who's trending upwards, who didn't have good quarterback play last year, finished wide receiver 6, 170 targets. I love to see a wide receiver targeted and still do things with not much there, right? Like, it's all about who's throwing to you, and he just didn't have that last year. 1,204 yards, 7 touchdowns, 109 receptions. Love to see that. He's young, he's hungry, and he's a guy that demands the ball. That's something you got to look at when we're talking about that dog mentality. You want people that demand the ball. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's extremely talented, but he seems like a super nice guy. He's not really, outspoken. Like, give me that ball, right? Like, he's bulked up. Go check out Marvin Harrison Jr. He's bulked up recently. Go look at some videos of him. But when you look at a guy like Nabers, he demands the ball. You got to give him the ball. You're going to have problems. Now they brought in Winston, Russell Wilson, and they got Jackson Dart, who I've been watching tape and I've been hearing looks good in like these mini camps that they're running, spring camps. He looks pretty good. So I don't know, man. There could be something there with Dart because they're looking for the future. Obviously, Russell Wilson getting older, more of a filler type quarterback right now. But Jackson Dart could be something. I don't know. But either way, I think no matter who's throwing the ball, they're going to be throwing to Malik Nabers. And you're looking at a young, knock on wood, healthy guy that you can get in the first round if you are fading running back. I think he's one of the safest best bets at wide receiver in the early rounds, ahead of guys like Amon-Ra, who has a lot of competition with Jameson Williams, saying he's going to have a good year, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs catching the ball in the backfield. A little less competition when you're looking at a guy like Malik Nabers, who he's going to be the guy. He's the best offensive player on that team, and there isn't really a debate. Whereas you got like the Lions, like I said, Gibbs is the best offensive player over Amon-Ra. So you got to take a look at that, okay? Something to consider. Malik Nabers can win your leagues this year, okay? The next guy here is a quarterback, and I actually got him as a backup quarterback in this experts league. People were sleeping on quarterbacks. My main quarterback is Josh Allen. Always get a backup. And my backup was Bo Nix. It was like the 10th or 11th round in this league. And I know I'm pretty set at every position at this point. Got my tight end, got my running backs, and I've got my wide receivers. By the way, if you want to know how my team looks like, grab the 16-round draft solution in June. When I do the mock draft, I will be discussing that team in the 16-round draft solution. So make sure you guys grab 16 rounds. But when I'm looking at Bo Nix, man, I'm just excited. I got him in like the 10th, 11th round in this league as my backup quarterback. He was a top quarterback last year, 3,700 plus yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I totally believe his touchdown interception ratio gets better, more touchdowns, less interceptions for sure as he gets into his second year. Everybody's kind of scared of the sophomore slump. It happened with CJ Stroud. It could happen with him. It could happen with Jaden Daniels. Can't really live in fear like that, right? But here's the thing. 5th in rushing attempts. The only thing that really separated him and Josh Allen last year were the rushing touchdowns. 4 for Bo Nix, right? And you had 12 for Allen. And It may stay the same for Bo Nix. He may not get more, especially with the addition of RJ Harvey. I'm excited about him. I got him. But you're looking at a guy who I think is going to continue to do well. They added Pat Bryant, which is an exciting prospect. Look at him. He was a 3rd-round pick. Some comparisons to the old Demaryius Thomas, right? Big wide receiver. What is he, like 6'3", 200 pounds, something like that. Now, he's only got a 4.6 speed. He lacks that burst, but he's still got amazing hands, and his yards after catch are amazing as Pat Bryant. He's an exciting sleeper. There's a bonus league winner for you. As Courtland Sutton, who's also a good value this year. Actually, with Courtland Sutton, here's the interesting thing with Courtland Sutton, right? Courtland Sutton is in a contract year, 29 years old. He has to do something this year, but they brought in Pat Bryant, which is an interesting prospect this year. Keep your eye out for him, okay? But either way, it helps the whole Bo Nix situation. RJ Harvey, Pat Bryant, Bo Nix getting better and more comfortable. Could be an exciting league winner at the quarterback position. If you are looking for a quarterback mid to later rounds and you faded some of those early quarterbacks, your Daniels or Hurts, your Allens, you got a good option here with Bo Nix, okay? Number 4 here, I got to talk about him, and this is kind of like I'm torn on this. It's kind of 50-50 how I feel about him. Another noisy wide receiver is Calvin Ridley, round 6 to 7 ADP, 78th overall. Had a good year last year, 120 targets, 30 years old, right? He's getting like just under 30 million a year with incentives and all that. He's like 26, 27 million a year because he had his contract. I think he's got a couple more years on that contract, but the guy demands the ball as well. Apparently expresses frustrations. Wasn't that happy last year. Cam Ward is on board. Now they did bring in Cam Ward's receiver from college, Xavier. They drafted Alik. They brought in veteran Tyler Lockett. There's a lot of receiving options here that could be fed. It depends on who Cam Ward wants to gravitate to. But on paper, talent-wise, experience-wise, a guy that's going to demand the ball, you got to look at Calvin Ridley. And when you're talking about value in the mid to later rounds, you are getting a wide receiver 1 round 6 to 7 after you've gone with your running backs, right? So most leagues, you only need 2 wide receiver slots. So we're talking fantasy football draft strategy. You get Calvin Ridley, maybe a Sutton, and you load up on 3 or 4 of these sleeper rookies and one of them hits. You've got your 2 wide receivers covered to the maximum, right? You are loaded and you've got the top running backs, your ace quarterback. So that's what I explained in 60 rounds. I figured out the recipe for this year, but Ridley's one of those guys that's a veteran guy you can get and still load up on wide receiver rookies and still be safe. I think he's going to be fine. But again, the only problem I have here is that they brought in these rookie wide receivers. It depends on who Cam Ward is going to decide to gravitate to. It's going to be very interesting. All right. The final guy who I absolutely love, I'm all in on, sleeper wide receiver, current ADP round 14, clearly going to be rising, and his ADP is coming up. So I would say if you really want him, you got to get him from rounds. Even though the consensus rankings have him like sitting at like round 14, if you look at it, he's coming off higher. And so are a lot of these rookie running backs, wide receivers. Even though their ADP says something, people are reaching for them several rounds ahead of ADP because they want them. They see the upside and seeing the value in where these rookies are coming off. So again, Trey Harris looking outstanding for the season. Love the talent, love the upside, love the youth. And Ladd McConkey, listen, I'm just not sold on Ladd McConkey's expensive value. 2nd round. I was the only one telling you, don't be a donkey, draft Ladd McConkey. This year, I'm telling you, you're going to be a donkey if you draft Ladd McConkey in the 2nd round. Grab Trey Harris later. You're going to be very happy. They are looking for a true wide receiver 1, whereas Ladd is not that, right? Ladd had 112 targets last year. Quentin Johnson, 91. Josh Palmer, 65. They brought in back Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnson is definitely going to be benched sideline. You want to take a look at Trey Harris. He is elite talent. He's got the dog mentality. He's got great hands. And I'm telling you, they did everything they can to fix the mistakes they made with Quentin Johnson, Mr. Brick for hands. He can't catch. His hands are bricks, right? They brought in Trey Harris, who's the complete opposite. He's a clutch performer, great hands, yards after catch are good. Obviously, he doesn't have that amazing burst speed as some of these other wide receivers coming out, like a Kyle Williams or something like that on New England. But you know what? He's still got every other thing that they're looking for. A consistent receiver that's going to catch the ball and do something with it after he catches it. So Ladd McConkey, great slot receiver, but I believe this is going to be the new target if Herbert gravitates to him. But when you look at the difference in ADP, 2nd round for the donkey, I can get this guy round 10 and after. I'm not paying that much, okay? So really consider Harris. They were looking for that guy that's going to replace that Keenan Allen type role. years ago. And, well, the guy, a true one, essentially, is what I'm saying. And Ladd was kind of there, filling the shoes, did an okay job, but now they've got a true guy. I'm not spending a second round pick on Ladd. I'm going to go ahead and take my chances with Trey Harris in all my leagues just for value upside, league winning upside. That's what I'm doing. All right. So if this is making sense to you, right? You're thinking outside the box, you're getting the value, you're still aiming high in the depth chart, getting those wide receivers. This is making sense to you. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, leave a league winner below, and grab the 16 round draft solution. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, it's like handing you the championship on a silver platter. Grab 60 rounds. I've linked it below. Have yourself a great day. Consider grabbing these guys on your roster. Great value. Malik a little expensive out of these guys, but everyone else pretty solid based on value upside, and make sure you target them. I'm telling you, league winning upside. Have yourself a great day. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.